Well, thanks for joining me in the kitchen today. You know, weather's getting a little bit cold outside, and nothing goes better on a cold day than a nice warm bowl of soup. Today, I'm going to make a really simple, but really tasty cauliflower curry soup. Just a few ingredients is all you need. We've got cauliflower, we've got about a head that's chopped up fairly coarsely. We've got 2 whole onions diced up. I've got a whole head of garlic, about a 1.5 cups of plain yogurt, so no sugar, no nothing in there, just real plain. I have a jar of tomato sauce that I made earlier in the year from fresh tomatoes, but if you had a can of diced tomatoes or even some tomato paste, that's all you need. And about 2 tablespoons of curry powder and a little bit of water, and that's it. So I've got a pan or a cooking pot warmed up. We're going to add just a little bit of oil on the bottom. There we go. And let's add our onions and our garlic. We'll give this a stir, and all we're going to do with this is we're going to cook that down. We just want it to be wilted down, a little bit translucent, and after it gets to being translucent, we'll add the cauliflower. Well, our onions have cooked down, they're nice and translucent, and it's time to add the cauliflower. I'm going to put that in, give it a little stir around. Now I'm going to add some water. All I want to do, I don't want to cover the cauliflower, I want to put maybe about a 1/2 inch in. There we go. That's going to be just enough to steam the cauliflower. Now when I cook cauliflower for just a regular dish at home, I like it to be have a little bit of crispness and texture to it. I don't like to overcook it. When I'm making a soup, I do absolutely the opposite. I want this soup to be nice and creamy and smooth, so we're going to overcook the cauliflower until it gets really soft. That's going to take about 30 minutes with a lid on. So we're just going to get it boiling again, turn it down, let it simmer for about 30 minutes, and then we'll add the other ingredients, and then we'll get it blended up. Well, the cauliflower has been cooking now for about 30 minutes. I'm going to turn the stove right off. There we go. Let's take the lid off. Okay, it's basically all cooked down nice and soft, and we're going to treat it just like we would a mashed potato. So we're just going to go in and just mash it up. We don't have to try and make it fluffy. I just want to break it down before we put it in the blender. Okay, let's add the remaining ingredients. I have a couple tablespoons of curry powder. There we go. A can of tomato sauce. Again, you could use diced tomatoes, you could use tomato paste. I'm putting this in here because the tomatoes are going to add you won't even taste the tomato flavor, but it's going to add a little bit of tang to that soup and make it extra tasty. Let's put that in there. And then finally, I've got a 1.5 cups of plain yogurt. So no sugar, no fruit, just plain yogurt. You could also use sour cream if you like a little bit of tang. That's going to give a nice creaminess to it. Let's just mix it around. And we're going to let the blender do the rest of the work for us. So it's as simple as let's put a little inside the blender. Make sure you put the lid on. I have forgotten to do that before and made a real mess. And we're not eating lunch until a little bit later on, so I'm going to put the soup into a pot, and I'm just going to keep it on low heat on the stove until it's ready to have the soup and a little bit of bread with it. And the texture is absolutely perfect. It's nice and creamy and rich. When you're plating it up, you can put a dollop of yogurt on top if you like, or just leave it exactly as it is, and it's just going to be absolutely wonderful for you. Now I'm going to go ahead and blend up the rest of it. Now this is a great bowl of soup. I'm really looking forward to lunch. I put a little bit of smoked paprika on the top because I love the flavor that it adds to it. You might have noticed I didn't put any salt when I was making the soup. Salt's something that you can add while you're cooking, but there's a tendency to get carried away a little bit with it. So I've left it so you can add salt afterwards. So anyone can put as much salt as they want or as little salt as they want, especially if they're on, working with high blood pressure or heart conditions. Too much salt can be a little bit tough on your veins and arteries. So I'm gonna have a little bit here. Absolutely perfect, just the way it is. Have a wonderful day. Do try a recipe like this. It's really simple to do. Take you maybe about an hour start to finish, and you get some wonderful fresh soup. This will freeze really well. Just put it in a Tupperware container. It'll last for a couple of months like that. Reheat it when you like it. Please click subscribe now for my newest cooking videos. A printable recipe and ingredients list can be found on my blog page. You'll find the link in the video description box. Thank you and have a great day.